Welcome to the Shut Up and Work podcast. I am your wonderful host, the coach, and today I got another management story that you're going to love. And this story is going to be called Goofus Rufus. Now, this story, we're going to have to back it up a little bit because I know I got ahead of myself. I was having fun dropping this management stuff to you guys. So let's go back to when I worked as a material handler at this industrial plant back into the mid to late 1990. This is where I met Goofus Rufus. And the reason why I call him Goofus Rufus is because he was a black guy that stood around 6'1", I would say. He wore Urkel glasses. He was skinny, and he just kind of had that nerd vibe. Also, Goofus Rufus was retired Army. Now, this is a big point because put that feather in your hat, and I'm going to explain why this is a big issue towards the end of this episode. Now, let's jump right into it. Goofus Rufus, at first, I was very naive. I was just looking at him because, hey, he was this black guy that was hired in this plant. And not only was he hired as a manager, he was hired as a department manager where he oversaw the first line supervisors, including mine. But the only problem was he worked in another department. And this department that he worked in, I was trying to do my damn best to get transferred in that same area. So I thought this is a perfect setting. Goofus Rufus came in. He's a black guy like me. He's going to try to help me. So that's what I was thinking during this time, and put me under him. And then I could shine and show my skills and what I could really do in this job and how I could help his department shine and grow. Well, let's go. Before I moved into his department, I would see Goofus Rufus come in because I was working the overnight shift, and he would come in around 6:15 that morning, and he would do these crazy ass things. Like, for example, he would go and grab trash from another department and throw it out in the aisles of the plant. And then he would see me working or doing something, and he will walk up and say, "Hey, Don, hey, there's some trash right there. Pick that up and get rid of it, Don. What's this trash doing out here?" And I was like, what the F? And the first time I did it, but then the second time I just kind of like gave him this puzzled look like, dude, I don't work in that department. Why should I go and pick up some trash? They have their own people that is going to pick up their own trash before they leave for the end of their shift. It was just crazy how he would do these little stupid things and try to see if I would, I guess, bite onto it. And once again, as I said in the beginning, I was naive at the time. I didn't know. I was just barely 21 years old when I met this guy. And I didn't know this was some kind of game that he was playing. So anyway, a couple of months go by. I finally get transferred into his department. And I was happy. I was like, yeah. And, I start working. I'm busting my ass. And once again, he started with these little menial things that didn't involve our department. But he wanted me to go in somebody else's department to pick up a box or fix something or throw away some trash or anything in that nature. So finally, the final straw with this guy, before we had to have a sit down and a come to Jesus, and one of us was going to leave this job, was when he ordered me and my counterpart to clean the sterilization little room. So the sterilization little room was like in between our back portion of the plant where people had to gown up. They had to fill the contact solution bottles in the back. And what happens is the bottles come down this conveyor belt and it goes out on through that little sanitation room and comes out to the production floor to be packed up and taken away and loaded on the truck. Well, anyway, he told us he wanted this room clean. And if we didn't do it, me and my counterpart, material handler, if we didn't do it, he basically was going to write us up and fire us. Mind you, this whole time, me and my counterpart, we never done this before. We had never cleaned this room. You had to be trained and go over, the procedures of how to clean, how to sanitize this room. So we didn't know what the hell we were doing. Our supervisor, who worked on the production floor at that time, she didn't know how to do it. So we were all puzzled. So the only thing we had access to was some bleach and hot water. We take a regular mop bucket that you have, and we had these little like Swiffer things before they actually came out on the market. And we put some hot water in the bucket, put a little bit of bleach in there, and we went into this room. We wiped the walls down with that solution, and we wiped the top of the sanitation room down and the floors and everything, and we came out. Now, because we didn't know what we were doing, the air that's in that sanitation room needs to be enclosed, and it has like a little bit of I want to say air that pushes out towards the production floor. Well, everybody knows how bleach is. That little bit of bleach that we diluted the room with, the smell started coming out to the production floor. And some of the production workers started feeling nauseated and sick, and a lot of them had to go home. Once that happened, then guess what? The line has to shut down, meaning production has to shut down, meaning the money was going to shut down. Basically, in this situation, we had to stop packing up the bottles because the workers were feeling sick, and word had got back to upper management. Hey, what the hell happened? Why did y'all have to shut down? And thank God our supervisor explained to them that, hey, this order came from the department manager, Goofus Rufus, who told my material handlers, who wasn't trained, to clean this sanitation room. So a big investigation had to be done. And it was the person right below the plant manager, my supervisor, Goofus Rufus, the HR manager, the safety manager, and a couple of other people. They were doing this investigation. They brought me in the conference room, and there was Goofus Rufus sitting up there eating candy and drinking soda, and he's trying to act all nice to me.
Hey, Don, you want a soda?
I was like, hell no. You almost got us killed, and you're about to get us fired. Well, come to find out, I told my story of what happened. I told them how me and my counterpart, we weren't trained, and the only thing we had access to was hot water and bleach to clean that room. And I left. And I find out a couple of weeks later, Goofus Rufus got canned, which he needed to be, his goofy ass. And there was no more of him walking around playing games, and I didn't have to deal with that guy. So to conclude and get to the points of what I was talking about earlier, number one thing that you should take away from this story is when I said he was retired military, retired Army. At that time, I was a little naive, but I learned later on in life, after, I've been in the military and things in that nature. I don't know why this is, but a lot of black men, not all, who go into the military, they make rank and everything, they start thinking and acting like their white counterparts. In other words, they are the ones who will step in the way, try to hold you down, not promote you, try to say that you're lazy or whatever. and set all these traps, like I was talking about earlier in this episode with Goofus Rufus, when he was playing these games with the trash and things like this from different departments. So that is something that I learned from him, and I learned in the future, and I was like, oh, this is how Goofus Rufus was acting, and I didn't learn that until I got into the military. Number 2, we have an old saying, black folks in the South, where we say all skin folks ain't kin folks, meaning that every black person, just because they look like me, may not have your best interest at heart. They may try to harm you. And that's how Goofus Rufus was. Goofus Rufus is what I call a Sambo or a coon. And the funny part about this whole situation that happened with him is he ended up getting fired because he thought he was comfortable and thought that white people was comfortable with him acting, managing, doing the things that he was doing. He thought, oh, I'm doing the right thing, because he probably learned that from the military and thought everything was going to be cool and hunky-dory. And he ended up finding out the hard way that those people didn't really have his back. And a lot of black men out there who act this way need to understand white people look at all of us the same. You can have a doctorate's degree, or you can be a criminal on the street. They look at us all the same. As the great Malcolm X once said, what do you call a black man with a doctorate's degree? And the answer is a black man. Nothing different. So he didn't understand that, and he thought, oh, shit, I could just get away, with this. The white people are going to have my back. They're going to fire this little black young dude. And it ended up backfiring on him. That's the moral to this whole story with Goofus Rufus. Everybody out there, please like, share, and subscribe, and drop me some comments below if you ever had to deal with a manager like Goofus Rufus, and let me know how that situation come out. Other than that, you guys have a great day and take care. Peace. Thanks for watching. And also, if you are having trouble or are currently working in a toxic workplace, then look no further than my book. It's available on Amazon, called Shut Up and Work, Surviving Then Escaping the Workplace. Other than that, have a great day. Take care. Peace.